Okay, I finally got my thumbnail picture that I liked, and now it's time to get back in this kitchen and give it another big declutter. And now it's time to get back into this kitchen to do another decluttering and organizing episode in some of these cabinets. And I must say, for recovering in my hoarding disorder, we are keeping the kitchen looking nice. We're maintaining, we're healing and creating new habits. Now, for this episode, I really wanted to get into the pantry. It's kind of funny that now the clutter's getting to me, but the only problem is that the organizing bins that I needed weren't going to be in on time to record this video. So that's okay because I have other cabinets that I can totally do. So that means we'll focus on what we can do. And what we can do is we can pull out the mugs and the cups. I can pull out the oven mitts and the towels and take everything out KonMari style. That way I can see what I have. Because in this cabinet up here is my baking stuff, but I haven't gone through it in 2 years. Next is my spices and all of my tea that I drink every morning. And the cabinet that's above the oven, I do have a couple of more appliances that are up here that we do use. And finally, we can go through the Tupperware section because Lord knows there's always a ton of Tupperware. And now it's time to pull every single thing out of these cabinets. Kind of doing it KonMari style because now it's become a habit to do it that way. It's become a habit for me to pull everything out so that I can see everything laid out on the floor, so that I can see how many multiples of each thing that I have. That way, it makes it a lot easier for me to make the decisions to let the items go. So in this drawer with my oven mitts and my kitchen towels was my chocolate hidey spot. Yes, I live with 3 boys and 3 boys go through chocolate and candy very quickly. So if I wanted to have a chance to have a delicious treat, I had to hide it. But I have currently switched to sugar-free chocolate that they don't really like, so I don't have to hide it there anymore. And another reason that I like doing the KonMari method is that even though it is a lot of work to pull everything out, it really does give me the opportunity to see everything and to touch everything. With my hoarding disorder, I have to touch everything before I can make the decision to let the items go. So this does kind of help in that process. And now we have everything laid out on the floor KonMari styled. And it is crazy how much stuff you can fit into your cabinets because this is taking up the majority of my kitchen floor. Now, here is the part where I kind of do the opposite of what Marie Kondo does. I don't find what sparks joy first. I do the opposite. I pick out what does not spark joy first. That way, I can get the decluttering momentum going. With hoarding disorder, everything sparks joy. But these right here, these little cozies that I got for marketing, they're not sparking joy. There's no emotional attachment to these. I can go ahead and let this go. Next, I am going to let it go. This Disney frozen Tupperware, and I know a special little girl I can gift it to. Next, I'm going to move on to decluttering expired spices. Many of you know that I had food poisoning before, and when you get that, you don't test anything out. As soon as it's expired, it is out of my house. But something else I wanted to add is that I don't have squalling disorder. I have hoarding disorder. Now, the difference is that squalling disorder holds on to the rotting food, the trash, the dirty diapers, etc. that is a separate disorder from hoarding disorder, which accumulates and holds on to a lot of personal items. And I think in a future video, I'll explain the difference in more detail. Now we're going to move on to teas, which I drink every morning, but not this one. I can't remember the last time I had this because I don't think I liked it. And the Sleepy Time Vanilla, I haven't drank that either. I can let that go. Same with this over here, Cinnamon Apple Spice. I don't know. It's just, I try these different teas, but I really don't like it, but there's no reason to hold on to it. What I do love is this, my Honey Vanilla Chamomile. Now, I drink that every single morning. Next, I'm going to move on to Saran Wrap and aluminum foil. And to be very honest, I never use Saran Wrap. And for some reason, I have like 4 things of these. So I'm going to give it away on my Facebook Towns Giving page. Next, I'm going to move on to my little baking bins that are organized, but now they're overflowing. So we have to go through it and start to let go and condense some more things. Now, I am surprised at what I used to hold on to, like these sprinkle containers. I used to hold on to them. They were the lids to the Pillsbury icing, but I held on to it thinking I could save it for using it in the future. And guess what? I never did. It sat in the bins, and now they're years old. This is how I can tell that I am healing in my hoarding disorder, because I'm finally being able to let go of things with new eyes. Now that our decluttering momentum is in full speed, we're moving on to Tupperware, which I can already see these lids. I can let them go. I don't know where the bottoms are to them, so there's no reason for me to keep holding on to the tops of the lids. This plastic container, I've never used. I can let that go. Same with this plastic bowl. I've never used it. We can let that go too. Now, believe it or not, this Tupperware container right here does have a sentimental attachment to it, because previous jobs before, my favorite boss in the whole wide world, Inga, made the most amazing German meal for me. And since then, she's passed away, and this is what I have left of her. But I do have a couple of pictures of me and her, so I think that's the memory I'll hold on to and let this go. Now we're moving on to the kitchen towels, and honestly, I can let go of this one. It feels good in my heart that I can let this one go. Same with this. I'm not feeling the emotional attachment that I normally would, so we'll go ahead and let that go as well. Next, we're going to be moving on to cups and mugs, which in my heart, I have placed very strong emotional attachments to. I'm not sure why, but they did form subconsciously. Like this right here. This is my Funshine cup, right? And over here is my Garfield mug. This is from like the 80s and maybe early 90s when I was very young. And I loved drinking from all of these cups. So what I think I'm going to do is, because they're so sentimental to me, is that I'm going to put them in my Sentimental foundation bin, which is where I have all of my childhood items at. Now, this is going to take some emotional energy, but I feel okay letting this go from 8th grade, from when I was in middle school. I can let that go. And this water bottle right here, I can actually let this go too. I don't really feel a sentimental attachment to this. Now, as I look through the cups, the kids' cups, I can let this go right here, right? That one I can let go of. And I'm going to let go of this one as well. And finally, this one. I will let go of this one as well. And I know as much as you guys would love to see me get rid of these quote unquote junky cups, again, there's a strong sentimental attachment to them. And this took a lot of strength within myself to let just those cups go. And honestly, I'm very, very proud of myself of how much I was able to let go of. So this is going to be the final section to go through because I can really feel the decision-making fatigue settle into my heart. And as I look around at all of the items, I realize that it feels good in my heart to let go of this blue tray. I don't really feel an attachment to it. Same with this little Veggie machine that is right over here. I feel good letting this go. I haven't really used it in years, and I kind of buy the store-bought zoodles now anyway, so I can let this go. And now that we went through all of the items, it is time to wipe out these cabinets, the drawers, make sure we get any crumbs or any messes that were in there. That way, my camera shy hubby can put the contact paper on. And my goodness, he is a pro at laying down that contact paper because it doesn't bubble or crease. And I'm just so glad that he does that task for me. And now it's time to start putting everything back into its home. And I'm really glad I did the KonMari series last year in the kitchen because I already have these organizational pieces in place, like my spice rack. I just have less spices to put on it this time. And also with my tea, I grabbed a bin that I already had to put my tea in. Now, the tea bags that are individually wrapped, what I did was I put them right in here. That way I can go ahead and recycle these empty boxes. And I'll still use my old magazine holder to put the aluminum foil and parchment paper in. And I'm still going to use my dollar store bins to hold the candles and the cupcake and the cake decorations in. There's no need to repurchase these things when it is already functioning well. And one day in the future, I'll be able to let go of more mugs, more cups, more kitchen appliances, more Tupperware. But for now, this is what works in my heart, and I love how it's looking. Now, I wanted to show you this Tupperware bin right here because this is where I'm going to keep my childhood cups and mugs, and I call this my Sentimental foundation. These are things that mean a lot to me that I am extremely emotionally attached to, and now they're safe and packed away. And now I finally get to show you my tossy pile, and it is yet another huge pile of stuff that is leaving my kitchen, and I am really proud of myself because this one was actually a little harder towards the end. But what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to recycle it as best as I can. I'm also going to put some stuff on my Facebook Townsgiving page. That way I can bless another family who might be looking for these items as well. Because what's most important to me is that it stays out of a landfill. So if I can recycle and reuse it as much as I can, that's what makes the decluttering feel like a positive experience. And now it's time to reap the rewards of all that hard work. And it is now nice and organized, and it looks so much better. And I get it. I get why people love being organized, love minimalism, because it's so easy to access everything. I even have space in cupboards now that I don't want to refill. I want to keep those spaces open because inside I feel great, and it'll feel great when I start to cook and start to bake. And when I need something, I'm going to know exactly where it is. I don't have to spend hours looking for it. And I loved that we were able to declutter and clean out another section of this kitchen.